Welcome back to another episode of the Unbroken Athletic Podcast. Here at Unbroken Athletic, we are committed to coaching beyond fitness. And part of that coaching beyond fitness starts with mindset. So in these podcasts, we discuss things that you can do in your life today that can help you on your way to being successful in the gym, in your life, and in your business.
Okay, guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for listening to the Unbroken Athletic Podcast. We are on episode 10. How about that? We need a celebration. And today we are talking about follow through. So we talked about owning it, and then we talked about doing it, and now we're talking about follow through. So to me, I feel like personally, this is the hardest thing that I struggle with. I am an entrepreneur. I am an ideas person. I am an action taker. My follow-through skills have had to be worked on for many years. So I think for me, this was just a learned discipline. It's not something that came naturally. It took, like we talked about last week about setting boundaries, let your no be your no, that this was something that I had to learn how to do too. Like if I said yes, then I was going to follow through and I was going to do it. And there was lots of times where I crashed and burned because I said yes to everything, and then had to learn to say no, but also follow through with the no's, as much as the yeses. So I feel like a lot of people set really good intentions and they spend all this time designing a plan, and then they maybe take the first couple steps to get to where they want to go, which is all good. That separates you so far from the people that aren't doing anything. But then the follow through, that's really where you break into that like top tier. You know what I mean? What do you think, Jeremy?
I don't know, man. I just I don't think I've ever, I guess that's a different thing for me. I don't like to start things that I know that I can't follow through with.
Yeah.
And so, I guess from the flip side of that, of starting a lot of things and not following through, like not starting a lot of things, a lot of missed opportunities. Just because I think, I try not to commit to a lot of things that I know that I can't pull off. Which also on the flip side of that, like I said, is a perfect way to lose out on a lot of things, rather than, maybe just not committing to stuff, like, I don't know.
Maybe like a happy medium.
I know. I have no happy mediums. Black and white, man. We're actually, we are joined today by Vince's ghost.
Hi guys.
If you're watching the podcast, he's able to talk and not hear. It's crazy. It's telekinesis. I don't even know if that's the right word. Telekinesis.
We don't have a timer though.
I think that's to move things with your objects with your.
I think that's to move things with your mind, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my bit on this is like, it's definitely a push or a pull on following through, and by that I mean like, kind of going off of what Jeremy said, it's hard to say yes to something that you can't follow through with. However, it's also hard because then you almost get the FOMO, the fear of missing out, kind of like the
FOMO.
Well, what's up?
FOMO.
Oh yeah, FOMO. Like,
FOMO
like
is
you
real.
You get that feeling like, shoot, like I do kind of want to go do that, but at the same time I don't know if I technically can. So you know what? No, maybe next time. And then you're sitting there, you're going, well, maybe I could have. And so I think, and I think that's a whole different rabbit hole that we could jump down one other episode. But I think following through is very important as well, though. I mean, like, you don't want to be known known as the person who can't be relied upon, if that makes sense. So, like for me, for instance, a perfect example is before I joined the coaching staff here at Unbroken Athletic, I joined on at BW for their soccer team for the spring and then this fall. And when I did that, I said, hey, I'm going to be here. And then a lot of opportunities came up through Unbroken Athletic, and now I'm sitting there going like, well, I really, really, really want to go do these things, but I have to follow through with my word with BW and say, hey, I'm going to finish out this season. Then I can take the time to figure out, okay, can I make both work? Do I have to lay off a little bit at BW? Can I start implementing some things now? So I think the biggest thing is just definitely to follow through with your word. And kind of like what Jeremy said, like if you definitely know you can't do something, you just have to say no. If you start becoming the person known as non-reliable, it goes downhill from there.
Right on.
Yeah, I think that's so important because you can't get your integrity back. I feel like after you.
I mean, you can. It just takes a long time.
It takes a while. Yeah, it's a lot harder to get your integrity back if you are always saying yes to everything and everyone. And that was the thing, like for me, I was saying yes to everybody and I would never let anybody else down. But then when it came to my own goals and my own things, that's where I would have to drop the ball, because you have to drop the ball somewhere. If you're stretched so thin because you said yes to everything, then you have to. I mean, and to me, it was more important to follow through for other people than it was for me. And we kind of talked about this last week, just about, never letting yourself down first. And that to me was a huge mindset shift. But it's played out so well in my life because you can't pour from an empty cup, If you're not filled, if you're not fulfilled, if you're not filled up, if you're not, getting what you need, then it's very hard to help other people. And I see people with servant hearts because I'm one of them, I want to help people. I want to serve people. I want to coach people. But when I was saying no to myself, I was actually not being able then to serve people well. And the people that suffered the most were the ones that needed me the most, like my family. And that to me was not okay. So just learning, I think it comes down to, for me, learning who I am and what I truly want, and then owning it, not being afraid to say, like, this is who I am. This is what I'm good at. Listen, I am not a PTA mom. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be at the meetings and I'm not going to be there. I'm just not. That's not my thing. And I'm okay with that. I don't feel guilty that there was a meeting last night and I wasn't there. I don't feel guilty that I don't go in and volunteer for everything that they do. And there's other moms that love that and they're great at it and they should be doing that. But I'm not one of them. But when the kids first started school, I was like, I got to go to every meeting. This is what moms do. I had to, I was running like 5 different boards within the PTA and I was stressed out and I didn't like who I was becoming. So it's been a journey for sure. But I think that once you can follow through on your commitments, it's so important. If you say yes, then let your yes be your yes. You don't want to be known for, gosh, that's like the one thing I don't want anybody to ever say about me. Besides being mediocre, there's like Shanna living in a mediocrity. I don't want that to be said about me, but I also don't want people to say, I never ever want people to say, like, there's Shanna, you can't rely on her for anything.
Right.
So what would you say to people? I guess this is an open-ended question for both of you guys. One of those things, we often talk about, I know for me, it's like I take everything into consideration, but for you guys, what are some things that you guys use to kind of hold true to yourself as far as, so that I mean, we all suffer from FOMO because it's a very true thing. There are certain opportunities that we wish we would have done, but hey, whatever, that's the past. But what are some steps that you guys often take so that you're not kind of, pulled over by this FOMO and you're actually looking at it from a perspective like, yeah, I should take this opportunity, and then the steps that you do to follow through with that. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
how do you identify the things that you should be doing and not saying yes to something you shouldn't be? What can we give our listeners some nuggets of information that have helped us kind of figure that out? And
Yeah.
I don't care who starts.
I think personally for me, it just comes down to, and I think a lot of things come down to your core values and then your core goals. Like,
what are those? Like, how do people come about those core values? Like,
oh, geez, I mean, it takes some time to figure those out within yourself. I mean, and to me, they might not be constantly changing, but they do change. I mean, for for a 25-year-old single guy compared to, a 30-year-old married
you
guy.
don't even know my age, dude. What the hell?
No, but with a 30-year-old guy with married and 2 kids, like, our 2 core values might be similar, but pretty different at the same point in time. Like, so I think it's just kind of determined on where you are in life. But how to find that? I mean, I honestly can't answer that, because for me, when I kind of find it within every single day, almost, like, just constantly asking myself, hey, what is it that I truly want? And I'm still kind of formulating all of that. So that's, in a sense, the FOMO part for me is, I think might be a little bit worse, because of the fact that, I should be going out and trying different things, and I should be trying to figure out exactly what it is. And I guess it is for everybody, what it is that you truly want to do. So to say yes to some things, but like other things, for instance, a great example for me was, I was asked to play on a co-ed soccer team pretty recently, and I love soccer. Anybody who's listening and that doesn't know that, I do. Soccer was my first love, and much will be.
I thought you were playing golf, dude, this whole time.
Oh, were you?
I thought you were a golfer.
Well, so I mean, anytime I get to play is an awesome time. But I had to start figuring out, okay, well, I already play on one team. Do I really need to go play in a co-ed league where it might be just for fun and it's great to go out and kick it, but I have the gym that I'm starting to really, really dive into and really, really love. I'm training BW clients. I have my full-time job. Do I have the time to kind of fit that in there? And the answer was no. So I just had to straight up say, hey, it's not going to work. I can't play on this co-ed team. And I honestly think that more people respect you for saying no straight up than hemming and hawing or saying yes and then being able to only show up to 2 games out of 10.
Yeah.
So I think for me personally, it was it just comes down to those core values and core goals that you have. But I also believe that those are changing throughout life.
Yeah. I think for me, I definitely had to sit down and figure out, who do I want to be in the future? And something that I did that has helped me kind of steer the ship or steer, my decisions that I make daily is I wrote out a 10-year vision statement. Like, what am I doing in 10 years? Who am I? Who's with me? What am I doing? What's important? And I wrote it, and then I read it every single day for a full month after I wrote it out. And I did this when I was your age, Vince, when I was 25. And I found it the other day. And it's so funny because you don't remember, life happens and you don't remember all these things.
Especially 10 years.
But you have them, so it's been 9 years now.
9 years, almost 10.
It'll be 10 years, in January since I wrote it. And it's so funny. So, like, I mean, it's not funny. It's incredible, the power that this has over your subconscious mind, because you're making decisions every single second. You know, it's not just about saying yes to big things. It's about saying yes to, like, what am I going to put in my mouth in the next 5 minutes? You know, am I going to show up to the gym? Like, is it, you know what I mean? Like, these little tiny, am I going to react to my children when they come home and tell me that they had a red day? You know? Yellow day.
Only yellow.
How am I going to react in this moment? And it may not seem important because they're just these little tiny insignificant things and insignificant decisions, but over a lifetime, you know, over 10 years, that compound effect of those decisions create your life. And so having that drilled into my subconscious mind, that vision of where my life was, I should get it for next podcast and read it. But basically it was like, I have 2 kids. I travel all the time. We live in an RV.
10 years ago.
We're very active in CrossFit still. It didn't say that we owned a gym, but I think it said that, oh yeah, it did. We owned a gym in our hometown. We donated a whole bunch of money to our church to build a new building. And it just had these things in it. And I read it and it almost like brought me to tears on how, like, when I was writing it 10 years ago, it seemed like this far-fetched fantasy dream. You know, because I'm working in retail. I have no money. We're in a buttload of debt. I'm like, how do people even make money, really? You know, we were like, what do we even do here? We didn't have any kids. The thought of kids were, like, terrifying.
Still is.
Yeah, it still is. And so it's fascinating to me on how powerful the subconscious mind is. So that's number one. Like, you gotta have to have a crystal clear vision on where you want to go. Not like tomorrow, not next week, not in the next 2 years, but in like a 10-year vision. And then go beyond that and have like legacy views. And that kind of ties into what you were saying, Vince, about having values. Like your values, you're thinking about your legacy, right? Like you're thinking about, what do I want to be remembered for? Not just who am I going to be right now, but who am I going to be to my kids when I'm gone? Who am I going to be my grandkids that I don't even have yet when I'm gone? What impact am I going to make? You know, so having that vision, but also knowing that sometimes in the moment you don't know what you actually want. And so I'm a Christian. I believe in God, and I believe that sometimes unanswered prayers are the biggest gifts that I've been given, because when I was 25 years old, I didn't know I knew where I wanted to be in 10 years, but I didn't know what I wanted in that 1 year. And so some of the biggest blessings in my life have been things that didn't happen. Like, I didn't marry the guy that took me to prom. That's probably a good thing, you know? So there's certain things that, like, you pray for that you want now in your life that change. And I think that's what you're talking about, Vince. Like, that does change, and you should be okay with that. Knowing that there's, you know, for me, again, that ties back into my faith and just believing that there's higher power controlling my life, and that just like a parent knows better for us, sometimes my life had to go down certain paths so that I could end up where I was. Like, I would have never wished that I got fired from my job when I was 5.5 months pregnant. It's not something that you, like, want. But it was the biggest blessing, because it was the day that I decided to be an entrepreneur. And so I just look back, and it's just such a beautiful journey to where I got, but I would have never chose the road that I took.
All right, so I think we are just about right at our 20-minute mark.
2 minutes.
I think we got about a minute and a half. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to ball all this up for everybody so that it's a nice little neat package, because we went down a couple different ways. So the goal is to follow through with your dreams, okay? Have a set of values that you will not break for anybody or anything, that are constantly developed, constantly changed, and your goals change with them. A recent thing that we've made all of our coaches do is the perfect day kind of thing. And so if you're looking for kind of a restart or a focus of your dreams and your follow through, take out a sheet of paper and think about a year from now where you want to be. And then write down in detail kind of how you would have your perfect day 1 year from now. And whether it's in your current job or out of your current job, whether you have kids, whether you don't have kids, whether it's marrying somebody, meeting somebody, doing something, any aspect of your life that you want to correct within a year, and then just post that places. Read it to yourself out loud. This way it'll help steer your ship so that you're following through with that goal or timeline. Then on top of that, do a 10-year vision plan. Okay? This is exactly what businesses do. How big businesses get to where they go. They plan by quarters, they plan by years, they plan by 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. They always have a vision plan in front of them. So if you're looking to steer your life, you're looking for that follow through, you're looking for something that is going to change your current circumstances, these are the things and the action steps that we have all done. I don't know about Vince. I think he still wants to be a golf star. But no, these are the action steps that we have taken. And I think for anybody that's looking to go from average to above average, that you just need to take these couple steps, take an hour out of your day, do these things, spend some time on it, and you don't know where it'll take you.
Yeah.
You guys got anything else to say?
No.
All right, guys. Make sure that you do like us, comment us on iTunes, because nobody knows we're out there. So help spread the word, help write a comment, give us 5 stars. If you have a Android device, find a friend with an iPhone and use it, and give us a rating on their iPhone for them. Okay? All right, guys, we will catch you next week. So see you later.
Bye.
Peace.